Let's call this meeting to order at 7:02.
Okay. And,
So who is going to be giving the grant update?
I will.
There you go.
I'm
Take it
not
away.
seeing any public members of the public in here, so we'll move on. So grant updates. One big update, as Bruce, you shared at our last meeting, just between committee members, we did end up winning the Connecticut Trails grant, recreational trails grant through DEEP. So the project, again, for reminders, from High Street on along Route 4 to South Road. That will be for the design and planning of a off-road trail for active transportation users of all kinds. So that is a big accomplishment. There is a lot of work to do before this comes to fruition. This is not something that's going to be built next year or the year after. This is something that's probably going to take a year or more to plan and design. We'll have to, it, we may have to do some kind of traffic study at the jug handle to facilitate some kind of crossing.
Yeah,
So
I would
there's,
actually think that's likely. Yeah.
yeah, I would think it's more likely, that when I was speaking with consultants, they were thinking somewhere in the 12 to 15-month range,
Hmm.
start to finish.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. A couple of people saw that it was published in the governor's press release,
yep, it was.
and I've just been saying 18 months,
Yeah.
just because I know how long these things take. You know.
Unfortunately, these things take longer than we'd all like. Even I would like them to be short and sweet, but that's unfortunately not the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
Um, so we have that going on now. I have a meeting with Deep at the end of the month to discuss the procedures and how we facilitate the grant. The total grant application was for 208,000. The committee granted the town of Farmington the entirety of the 208,000. The town's portion would be 20% match, which would be 52 grand.
Hmm.
So, so this is a
Yeah.
$260,000 project that we're anticipating. Um, like I said before, that will take a year to 2 years to complete. So, and then after that completion, we would then be looking for funds to build the project, or to there's gonna have to be, most likely there will be some right-of-way acquisition one way or the other, probably through easements. I don't believe that the museum can deed away land without serious implications for themselves, which they would not do. So I know we have a sewer easement, but I don't know if they'd be entirely open to a pedestrian easement um, across a small portion of their property. So there are some hurdles to jump, but all of that will be sorted out during this project that will be taking place.
Yeah. There
Just so
might.
you know, oh, go ahead. I was going to say,
Oh,
Dylan, a couple of years ago when I was talking with the Hillstead Museum, they said they were more than willing to do that, do an easement.
Okay, I
I
I
don't know if
gave
things have changed in the last couple of years.
uh, um I think, I believe her name is Anna Swinberg,
yep.
Bruce.
The new
Yep.
Yep.
person.
She's the director. I don't know how long she's been the director, but
Yeah.
I
Couple
gave her
years
a
now,
call.
something. Yeah, but 2 years.
Yeah.
So I met
I
her right when
gave
she
her a
got
call and
hired.
she wasn't too warm to the idea, but
Um,
Yeah,
in
I
in
think
in
we've got a sales job there, but I think
yeah,
we can do that.
I think you're right, Bruce. I think
Yeah.
it's more of a sales pitch.
going
But
back 4 or 5 years, they were all in, but things have changed.
yeah, the one thing that they're careful of is, or two things, is security and abiding by their founding documents.
Hmm.
Yep.
Those were her two concerns with it. She wasn't sure if it was entirely possible, and wasn't sure from a security standpoint.
Well,
Uh,
it's interesting, Theodate Pope Riddle. uh, her documents
Yeah.
are coming under scrutiny because of the Avon Forest project.
Avon Forest project?
Yeah, you know, the new road they're putting through next to Avon Old Farms.
Mhm.
So she basically gave that whole chunk of land to the prep school under very similar codicils. So it'd be interesting to see how that works itself out. Like now, they just had a public meeting the other night.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. So we can kind of go to school on that a little bit.
Okay, good to know. But enough of that project. That again, be a couple of years down the road till we
Yeah.
see a completion. In terms of other grants, we are anticipating hearing about our RAISE grant application, which is for the Monteith Extension project. That project would extend Monteith Drive across the river. That is again a planning project. Throughout the last 10 or so years, both CROG, the Council Region of Governments that oversees our region, including the town of Farmington, and the town of Farmington Public Works and Engineering Department, both have been engaged in numerous studies and activities related to the project in terms of traffic monitoring studies, overall planning, from a very high level, about 10, your 10,000 foot planning elevation. So that project, if awarded, would be a huge jump starter in the right direction to getting that additional river crossing. And again, being the Monteith extension to New Britain Avenue.
Mm.
So we
Can I
are
ask a quick
anticipating
question?
that. Sure.
Is there any information about like the study, what the study knows about walking or biking is that we
The
could?
study has been published on CROG's website. I can share that link with you guys.
That'd be great.
Question, Dylan. I saw some of the preliminary drawings, but I don't recall seeing a bike lane or if the walkways were wide enough for bike and pedestrian. Do you happen to?
The sidewalks will definitely be wide enough. The preliminary drawings were done by AECom in 2018, so they're a bit older than the most recent planning activities.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I would think as a practical matter, you know, the town would want to revisit that, you know, given because it seems to me I recall they were 8 foot, if I'm not mistaken, and you know the AASHTO minimum now is 10.
They might have been, Bruce. I know that the bridge would have lookouts on either side.
Yeah, I recall that too. Yeah, I
with
do.
benches, similar to what you would see on the Trestle Bridge. If you take a ride along the trail over by the Midpoint Development Project, which I do not have an update for at this time. I know that they are still seeking a buyer for the deceased developers portion.
Is that what the story is? I was going to ask. Okay.
So there were two developers, one of which has since passed. He passed last summer, and the estate did not go with the other developer's offer to buy out the estate from the project, and they're currently seeking additional investors to purchase the rest of the project. I don't know where they are with their search. I know that they've had a couple interested parties. I don't know if they've gone and done their due diligence yet, however, or continued to be interested in the project. Go ahead, Ron.
You said that there are lookouts that they're putting in. When they put those lookouts in, are they taking up actual lane space by doing that?
No, they're bump outs. Bump outs on the bridge. Yep. Yeah. I believe the back of a bench will be in line with the rest of the bridge. However, in front of that will be a bump out.
So I guess a lot of us are concerned. We just want to know how we can assure that they don't build this bridge without making it safe for bicycles. 'Cause
if
it's gonna be used.
If you attended the public informational meeting, you would have seen on one of the slides that they had. There are, the plans currently show us acquiring a large parcel of land on New Britain Avenue for the bridge and turning much of that into a park with the recreational trails and trails. The trails would bring you to the bridge. However, I believe it's just currently the 8 or 10-foot sidewalks on either side of the bridge.
Because
And,
this is
you
our
know,
last shot, once.
that's-
we-
Well,
sorry.
it's done that way in part because the New Britain Avenue and Route 4 do not have dedicated bike lanes, so you wouldn't necessarily have a dedicated bike lane only on the bridge to then outlet
So-
you to.
Just out of curiosity,
So I think
how
just-
wide are the shoulders going to be on the road? If they're going to go 2 lanes, I assume, and then probably 6-foot shoulder.
Probably something similar to that. Yeah.
6 foot is plenty for a bike.
Yeah, I would anticipate them being wide. Again, this grant is for the planning and design of the bridge. All we have right now are preliminary drawings, which they might
Yeah.
not have included bike lanes for.
But I mean, that's going to be as wide as the bridge that goes over the Farmington River just before Route 10, which is plenty wide for a bike.
It would probably be similar, if not wider.
I expect it to be a bit
So-
wider.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the plan is for 2 lanes in either direction.
Yep, I think so. I think it's gonna be quite wide, the last I knew.
Yeah, so you have
Uh,
the sidewalk in addition to that. That's plenty of room.
Yeah, and this bridge will be a lot longer in terms of span than the other Farmington River bridges.
As long
Because
as I keep
we
my
now
speed
have
up,
to
I should
clear
be
the
good.
floodway almost entirely. I'm sorry, what
Well,
was
that's
that?
good. I said as long as I keep my speed up, I'll be good.
Yeah.
Is there,
So so
I know this is probably not going to happen, but
is
is
my
there
mic on?
separation between?
Yeah, we can hear you, Neil.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Okay, because I've been trying to get in, so forget it.
What was that?
You were in.
Okay, I'm just trying to make a point that the town has a bike advisory committee. We're all part of that. And this
Yep.
is another example of a project where we can actually provide valuable input up front. And that hasn't happened in this town. We find out about things after the fact. I'd like us to be proactive, and telling us to go to a public meeting is not what the point of this committee is, in my mind. We ought to have a seat at the table when we're designing these things, so we can put our input in. It could be ignored, or it could actually be a valuable asset. But that's, to me, is the point of this, if we're actually going to do this right.
I agree with you completely, Neil.
Yeah, because I don't think we're just looking for a 6-foot shoulder. That doesn't satisfy my idea of getting people safely, families safely over the bridge in a bike-friendly community.
Unprotected sidewalks too. If it's 2 lanes in either direction, cars will be going pretty fast, and I'm not sure an unprotected sidewalk makes sense, especially one that connects a park with a school and a library. I just think that's too fast for families.
I believe it's 2 lanes in either direction for traffic reasons. I think if you had a single lane in either direction, you'd have a significant backup. Because both intersections are going to be controlled. They're not going to be free flowing, most likely. They're one of the plans, or 2 of the plans, one of which had a traffic circle at New Britain Ave, and an additional plan had traffic circles at both intersections. However, that would be challenging to get through DOT. That would require DOT to do major upgrades to other intersections on Route 4.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think
I would
they
never
would.
presume to weigh in on the number of car lanes
Yeah, no,
at all, but I just mean
I'm just trying to explain how they were thinking when they were probably doing the concept drawings in 2018. That's
Totally
all.
understand. It's just,
Um,
by the time like cars are going that fast, not every family is going to feel safe with just a sidewalk. Kind of,
Perhaps, yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's,
and Neil, I think we need to be involved in the design. We're just not at that stage yet. I wasn't trying to tell everyone to go to public informational meetings that they, one, have already happened, and two, all of the information is available on the website. I can provide links to that as well.
Yeah.
The slides and things. But
Yeah, and
I'm
I
just trying
just
to
think we're
provide a
counting
quick
on you
update.
to get us a seat at the table when
Yep.
these things are being designed, and that hasn't happened historically in our town.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do our best to get as involved as we possibly can. We
Yeah,
have
we're not piling on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have quite a bit of time before pens are going to paper for this bridge, if awarded. So we have
Yeah.
some time to figure out what
And,
exactly.
and,
our
there's
next
there's
ones.
also a lot of time to discuss, what's on either end. And DOT is going to have a big stick on that, as we know. But for instance, there's nothing stopping us from having, buffered side paths on either end to get to the facility. So, it's being done now. AECom is very good at that, by the way, or whoever gets picked for the final design. But yeah, no, it's doable. I mean, I was just the ribbon cutting at the new bridge over the Connecticut River in Weathersfield, the new side paths,
Mhm.
and those are really well done. So,
Yeah,
DOT.
and Bruce, Bruce, sorry to interrupt, but that's actually a good example, because initially when they redid the Putnam Bridge, they put those paths in, but they blocked them off because they were unusable the way they were designed.
Exactly.
And it took years, took
Yeah.
years for Weathersfield and Glastonbury to work on designs to make those usable. I'm just trying to get out in front of it.
It took 8
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we want to be out in front of that for absolutely, for sure. Yes.
Yeah. So, in terms of grants that affect this committee, that's pretty much the updates right now. We'll know more next month on the RAISE grant, hopefully, and I'll know more about the procedure on the recreational trails grant next month as well. So,
Dylan, would it be okay to ask a question about Red Oak Hill?
yeah, go for it.
We had talked about in one of our documents that we were going to try to stay away from speed bumps. Now they're redoing that whole road. And I think they're also redoing Burlington Road right to the Burlington line, correct?
Yep, we're doing Burlington Road from Route 177 to the town line, and West District was milled today.
I'm sorry, West
Yesterday.
District, not Red Oak Hill. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I knew what you meant.
Are they going to take those speed bumps out of there?
I don't believe they stay. So yeah, no more speed bumps on that road.
They'll just use the stop signs for traffic control?
Yeah, they're not an effective means of speed deterrent, I'll say.
Yes.
So don't get too excited yet, because
I
they
know.
took them out on when they put them back in on Miss Porter's Road. What's the road behind Miss Porter's?
Garden
Street, right? They redid that a couple years ago. They put the speed humps back in, and what I was told at the time was those were grandfathered in because they were in place when they ripped the road up. So the rule was no new speed humps in town, but they would replace the ones that existed. So don't declare victory yet.
Yeah, I mean, I've rode the ones on Perry Street, and it's like when a car gets next to you, they squeeze over, they'll put you right into the curb. And
I
you
know
you know how it is, Dylan.
Yeah, I know from a maintenance standpoint, they're not well liked, and
The plows don't like them either.
yeah, so I don't think they are staying on West District Road. I think Miss Porter's was Garden Street was a little bit different just because of how spread out Miss Porter's is. It's not just one school like the school on West District Road is. It's the school spread out, sports facilities, dorms, etc. I have a lot of students walking constantly. I think that was kind of also part of it as well. But yes, you are right about the no more new speed humps rather than removal of all existing. So there's an argument to be made for West District as well, but I don't believe the plan is to put them back.
Well, it's like Neil said too, if we can, if they're gonna redo the road, we don't have to remove them, but let's not put them back.
Yeah,
If that's the recommendation of the committee.
yeah. I don't believe the traffic authority in Farmington particularly likes them either. In terms of speed deterrent and other things that they were originally put in place for. So like I said, I don't believe they're going back in, but I guess we'll wait and see just to make sure.
I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever had an ambulance ride, you don't like speed bumps.
Hmm.
I can't imagine you would. Going back to town projects, however, Burlington Road, they have started construction this week. They started Monday. The crew has been there since. They started cutting the road today. I know they had problems with the saw, however, but the project is getting started. They should be through about 1,100 feet of the road, which is roughly a quarter of the project in about the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Now, is that the work they're doing down just below the dam right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That is a full depth reconstruction, and we are replacing a lot of the drainage, not all of it, and we are adding some additional drainage to the road. As well as we're trying to tee up River Road and Lake Street as best we can to make those more at a 90-degree angle to Burlington Road, which has proven to be a bit safer than how they're currently configured. We should be able to accomplish that on River, Lake Street, not so much just due to existing conditions underground. We're limited in terms of where pipes are and things for catch basins and whatnot. So we should see some improvements on both of those streets and some improvements overall for the road in the next couple of months. Paving, probably anticipating sometime end of October, if not November right now. Hopefully that schedule sticks.
Wow, it's going to take that long, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
We've got a couple thousand feet of pipe going in, 34 new structures. There are almost 40 new structures, including all the manholes, as well as some additional drainage work. So, so right now that's what we're looking at. We have a pedestrian upgrade occurring at the island at the corner of Lovely Street and Route 4 in Unionville. We are adding an additional walk to that small pedestrian island to the in front of the Mason building there on the corner.
Good.
Bruce.
No, it
That
badly needs it. Yes.
Yeah, that was not easy to get DOT to get on board.
No, they hate changing those things. Yeah, I know.
I'm surprised because I mean, if you've ever crossed the road there, it's kind of like playing Frogger.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. I have one additional project on Lovely Street up there that I'm trying to get through DOT right now. They've thrown a couple hurdles at me, but I think we should be able to jump them and get over them. We're going to be adding, hopefully with DOT's approval, considering it's their right of way, adding rapid flashing beacons at the crosswalk at Sylvan Avenue, across Route 177 as well. So hopefully I can get that in the works before July, the second week of July is the goal right now, but I'll have to consult with a couple contractors to do certain parts that we just don't have the time, the resources to do right now. So I'll have an update on that next month, hopefully with a completion date. The water fountain run over at New Britain Ave parking lot for the trails. We are looking to connect with Connecticut Water to flush out that line that they placed many years ago for the water fountain. once we know that is functioning, we will set a date to put the slab in and the fountain. And it should be in the near future, because we're gonna have a break between paving operations in the next couple of weeks. A short break, a few days. So I'm gonna try and squeeze it in then if I can.
I have a question for you because I've put in a few of these over the years.
Yeah,
There's two methods to deal with frost. One of which is to bury the junction way down, like 4 feet down.
yeah.
Which would be my advice, because it's just a hell of a lot easier than essentially having to winterize it every year.
I believe that's the system that we have. The water fountain that we have is a frost-free system, so I believe that's
I
what
think it
does.
is. I think it is. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. That's all.
How it works is when you hit the button, the valve turns on and shoots water to the corresponding because there's a bottle fill and a regular fountain.
Yep.
We'll shoot the water to either feature, whichever one is pressed. And then after the button's released, the water inside of it's a tube. So
It
the water
drains.
inside the tube
It
will
drains
drain
down.
out.
Yep.
There's stone on the bottom, and
Yep.
it's just allowed to go back into the ground.
Yeah, it's basically just a kind of a I don't know. It's not really a French drain, but it's they put stone.
Similar, yeah,
Yeah.
it's similar in
Yeah.
concept. So that's
Okay,
right
I
now
was just checking because the alternative sucks. So
yeah,
if,
it does.
yeah. Okay, good.
The water fountain on School Street and Route 10 in downtown Farmington in the Village works that way. And that company still makes that water fountain. I may need to replace it. It's not functioning right now. It lost 600,000 gallons in 6 months of water.
Whoa,
I don't think our residents are that thirsty. We see a line outside of it. Yeah. So something's going on there.
Okay, I got to tell you, I'm 62, and I drank from that fountain when I went to Noah Wallace. That's how old that sucker is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the company still makes them. They're still in business. They've been making that fountain for 150 years. And they still use leather washers. Now I'm no maintenance expert by any means, but I bet it's been some time since those washers have been replaced.
It makes you wonder if they ever were.
Maybe.
Who knows?
We're gonna find out. I've got two things going on there. I've got our maintenance guy trying to get in there to take apart what he can and see if it's just a washer. And I also have a construction crew that's going to come and cut it out. And it's most likely rot at the bottom of the pipe is what we're thinking, just because you're not getting 600,000 gallons in 3 to 6 months from a leaky washer. So
Fair point.
yeah. So
Hey,
that
Dylan,
fountain
there's been
we're
some
working
work
on.
on River Road, some sidewalk work from one of the streets there heading down towards
yes.
Carolyn's
so
house,
Bridge,
actually, I think. How far is that going to go down?
Bridgehampton Crossing is doing that work. And it's just at the entrance of the development.
That's just them.
Yeah, it's just them right now.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a parcel across the street from Carolyn's street. You live up on Tane Mountain, right? Yeah. That could be developed and could have a sidewalk implemented, but no developer has come forward with interest in developing the site as I know of, at least. But there is some hope, Carolyn.
Yeah, no, I do appreciate that. I think anything to make it easier for people to get on that trail is great.
Yeah. So there is some hope. There is a parcel that is ripe for development. Just will take the right developer to acquire. And
I will say this, Carolyn, the amount of bike traffic on River Road has increased so much because of the trail that cars are getting very used to seeing cyclists up and down that road. I mean, I've had very few brushes on this road since they widened it, actually. So it's pretty decent road to ride on. And Ron Sharrow's help too.
Yeah, the signs too. Cyclists may take full lane or big part of that, which I think is also thanks to Ron.
A little
But
bit of awareness goes a long way.
it really does. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, and speaking of Ron, also thanks to Ron, Ron and I met at Meadow Road to nail down those locations of the 3 feet to pass signs through the flats as well this past month. So we'll look to get that implemented when we can. We're still short a crew, I believe, and I have a couple obligations that I need to get done this year that may prohibit putting those signs in, may not. I'll find out a little bit later. I'm trying to be honest, Ron. I don't want to overpromise. I'd rather underpromise and overdeliver. So we'll do our best to get those in, and we'll get those to the traffic committee, traffic review board when we can, and get their final approval. Go
Did
ahead,
you
Rob.
see the sign I was talking about? Probably not, because it's covered over with trees. As you're heading back up,
The bronze sign or the silver sign? The
Yes.
Bike League, I think
It's
it's Bike
got-
League Silver, all the way
Right.
up silver.
that shouldn't have been that sign. So I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, is that another place? I mean, I could go screw that up.
No, actually, you know,
we can take a look.
the LAB sent out the last time around when they sent out signs. They sent out all silver signs. They didn't send out any bronze signs to anybody.
Oh, really?
And it was something of a mystery because, you know, there's only 2 silver communities in Connecticut, you know, New Haven and Simsbury.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've heard that from a number of people that they just basically missent the signs. I don't get it, but
Does it say silver or is the color just?
no, it's just the color is silver.
Yeah, the color's silver.
It might have been just a poor design choice.
I
Maybe they only
suspect
sent one file over to the sign company and said, well, maybe that will encourage them to go silver.
no, I expect it was something like that. I actually know the executive director, Bill Nesper. I just talked to him the other day, and I gave him crap again about it.
Yeah.
So, and on the signs through the flats, I was riding a lot through neighboring communities over the last in May in particular, you know, during the National Bike Month. And I noticed, I think it was in Canton, they had the big traffic sign, you know, that's on a trailer, and it did say something about 3 feet, you know, bicycles give 3 feet to pass and all that stuff. We used to, and it reminded me that we used to do that probably 5-6 years ago. Ron may remember. We actually had those signs posted in the flats. And we had over one weekend, I think we actually had FPD out there making a presence on that road. And I'd like to see that done again. I brought this up before. I'd like to see that done again. And maybe in conjunction with when we put those signs in, just make a show of it, because that helps. I mean, I saw a police officer at that crossing up in Canton by the nursery, you know, where they're building the new fire department. You know, people speed through there all the time. Well, the police officer saw somebody do it and pulled them off, lit them up, and made a big show of it. And I'm sure that anybody that saw that night is looking both ways for cyclists at that intersection now. So, you know, if we could do something like that in conjunction with the signs, I think that'll help reinforce it.
Good. Yeah. No, I think that'd be a good idea. Jeff, if you have anything to say to that, it being our police presence on the committee.
And I can bring it back to our department and see what they say about doing that kind of stuff. We had a sign. I don't know if it was borrowed or if we actually own it and if it's working or not. One of those basically LEDs that you can program for different things.
Okay.
I thought I saw one recently for voting in town, so it might be working.
I think it was Avon had one too, right across from the high school. It was there all through May. Bike
Yeah.
month.
We actually had it at the crazy intersection or the crosswalk on 177 that none of us like. Just reminding the cars have to stop and yield to pedestrians. I'd like to see that out there periodically too.
I gotta say, recent experience at that intersection has been really, really good. I mean, you roll up to it, and you don't even have to touch the button, and people are stopping. I think it's
Sure.
like Carolyn was saying, it's an awareness thing. Once you get that awareness, then people look for us.
Yeah.
So it worked out pretty good.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm having people, I saw a guy go around me. Again, I saw it go around me because he was so impatient. Yeah, I'm having the opposite observations.
Hmm.
Well, it's not, it's not perfect, but it is, it's somewhat of a regional education,
Mhm.
And I think, I do think it's better, at least from what I can tell. And I'm there quite a bit. Is it perfect? No, no, it's not.
What do you
Part
think has made it better? What has changed?
Well, we went down there with Dylan and we readjusted the lights, right, Dylan? We
Yeah.
moved them in front of the telephone poles, which helped. And I think the fact that there's more and more and more people using those lights and the crosswalk there, the awareness is there.
Yeah.
There's always going to be
Did
somebody.
the lights get moved? I didn't think the lights got
That
moved.
was
We
that
talked
was
about
with
it.
Bruce, I think. I think that was with
Oh,
Bruce
yes,
because I
you're
know
right.
Bruce told me that they had shifted something there before.
Yeah, they
Moved
did.
one of the poles to the other side of one of the utility poles.
Yep.
You
No,
know,
it was pointed out rather forcefully that you couldn't see the damn thing.
yeah. I
And-
think that's what it was.
Oh yeah, no, I made no bones about it. And
Yeah.
so yeah, but again, is that perfect? No, it's not. There's just there's just constant traffic there. So, but I do think that people there's better awareness. How's that?
I think awareness, I think road design is big. Awareness is part of it too. It's all part of it.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think one of the big problems is people coming down the hill. There is nobody going only 25 miles an hour. Nobody.
Yeah. It's
And
like
I still think
45 miles an
I've
hour.
seen them pop up in all surrounding towns. The flashing like 25 mile sign. You need to be reminded going down that hill because you're coming from what? 40 coming down Plainville Ave to all of a sudden 25, and people
It's
are
a drastic
still flying
change.
down. Those little flashing mileage signs get me every time. I have one right around the corner in Burlington, going down west side or whatever this road is, and it hits me every time. As many times as I drive it, blink, blink, 25. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going 28. Slow down. Very residential here.
Mhm.
We
Yeah,
don't do that in
Plainville,
Farmington. I
too.
don't know why. Every surrounding town seems to.
They have them on Lovely Street as you're approaching Unionville. Actually, as you're exiting Unionville, heading towards Canton too. I think that's in Farmington.
Or
Maybe it's just over the Avon line, but
pretty sure it is Avon.
okay.
I think they're
But you're
Avon,
right, they do help.
but they're very close to the line and they do help. I agree, they do.
And that's the place we need it, coming down that hill.
So how do we make that happen? Or
Any changes to the current signage would be through the traffic authority of Farmington,
Yeah.
or through DOT.
Wouldn't that have to be DOT, Dylan, since that's a state road?
It would be a DOT permit for sure. I don't know if the local traffic authority can. I'm sure they can make the recommendation, but I think the decision is ultimately DOT's.
Yeah, that's my understanding. So
Yeah.
The Farmington traffic has to go to DOT and DOT has to approve.
Yeah, and DOT would likely do some kind of small traffic study, try and get an 85th percentile speed, and it be 6 months of research, and you may or may not see one pop up. That's typically how they operate.
Yeah, but if we don't start the process, we'll never
Yeah.
know. So can we get it to the traffic commission?
I can look to add it to their next meeting. Yeah, let me make a note of it. So I would propose, because one of the big things that DOT does not like right now is sign pollution. So I would actually propose removing the existing 25-mile-an-hour speed limit sign and replacing it with one of these signs that has speed limit posted with the your speed sign below it, and it would flash once the driver is going 5 or 10 miles an hour over.
I think
and
it's
then-
just over.
and
Yeah,
Or-
that,
or
well,
just
that
over.
way you're not
There's-
reinventing the wheel, right, Dylan?
there's
you're
a
just replacing a sign.
there's guidance on that, so they recommend 5, I think it's 5 to 10 over, just so that it's not always flashing. They want it to be like you want to see solid numbers rather than flashing, and if every vehicle is going over and it's always flashing, people tend to ignore it, so they like to see at least some vehicles hitting it solid. So the vehicle in front of you might be solid, but you're not, but you'll see theirs will be solid, and then yours might be over. Maybe you're doing 11 over, yours will start flashing, but the guy in front of you is only doing 9, and you're like, hey, why isn't his flashing? Because he's going slower. There's some guidance on that. It's for example, if you allow it to show the speed unlimited, what they find is that drivers will learn that and try and get it to say 99. It happens almost every single time that they've done this type of study. Someone always gets close to 99, 100. It will keep going past 100, but it
It's
can only show
called
99.
Darwinism.
Yeah, so they like it when it shuts off at, I believe, 20 over, which is in the state of Connecticut reckless driving. So there's guidance on that, and we would have to follow those guidance rules, or the DOT would follow those guidance rules.
But yeah, I think that would be, as Ron said, that would be a huge improvement coming down the hill, because it alerts you how fast you're going. It's right there in front of you flashing.
Okay.
Makes it a sprint line.
Yeah, that's why the guidance is out there, because they were finding it was deterring speed yet promoting even
Yep.
higher end speeds. It was kind of separating the gap even further between your top, 5-10 percentile and your 85th percentile. They were getting further apart. The 85th would move down, however, the outliers would move up in speed, depending on how the sign is programmed. So that's where that comes from. But we will look to get that on their next meeting. If their agenda's not already set, I think they meet next week or the week after.
Thanks for
Thanks,
doing that, Dylan.
Yeah.
Is that an open meeting, or how does that work?
I don't believe it's typically open. I believe you can reach out to Amber Rush, who is the secretary to the police chief, if you would like to attend, but we have to get it on the agenda first.
Okay.
So, let me just jot that down so I don't forget.
And what road was that on again?
It's on Plainville Avenue over by
Plainville
Depot
Avenue.
Place. The actual sign, though, however, I believe is on the curve coming down.
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. And that's something that we could probably do a solar panel for, so it wouldn't, the initial cost is more, but we wouldn't have it be like metered or anything.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm sorry, where were we? Town projects.
Yeah.
In terms of town projects, that's really all I have for you at this moment. In terms of updates, I know DOT is doing a signal upgrade over at Finneman Road at one of the off-ramps or the on-ramp for Route 84, or Interstate 84, I should say. And then there are various smaller projects throughout town, whether it be private developer or utility company or DOT. So,
Thanks for
Just
that.
a
Ron.
question. Yeah, just a question,
Yeah.
Dylan. Earlier you had said that when we were talking about West District and Burlington Road, that some of the paving wasn't going to be done until November. Potentially, is that the West District side or the Burlington Road side or
that's
both?
Burlington Road project, the West District project, which is our annual paving program, so they milled it only because the reclaimer can't reclaim 8 inches of asphalt and go down to our full depth limit for the road base. So they had to bring a miller in to mill off 4 inches of asphalt before the reclaimer can come in. I think the reclaimer is scheduled for next week. And then paving would be shortly after that. We've already set the new basins and new tops. So it really
So it's the Burlington Avenue side that I won't be able to ride on for a while.
well, the contractor is doing it a slightly different approach than I probably would have done myself. However, means and methods are up to them.
Mhm.
They are saw cutting the portions where they're doing drainage work and then paving those back over. So you'll be able to ride. However, I would caution that it'd probably be a bit more bumpy than you'd like.
Yeah.
So,
Do you want to move on to the bike league application update?
sure. Real quick, I'll say that I have been in the document. I've made a couple of comments, but I haven't gone through everything yet. It's really it.
Yeah,
When exactly? Go ahead. Is that
Yeah.
due date?
it's coming up soon, right?
Yeah.
It's
I
the
don't know.
24th, 27th, something like that. It's 20 something June. I know that.
I mean, we can, yeah, I'll take a look at your comments. I'd seen that you had made them. I haven't had a chance to look at them, but yeah, maybe we can make a small edit or two and you guys
Yeah,
are,
like I said, I've gone through a few pages of it, not how many pages is it? 26, 30, some, or am I way under?
I think you might be under, in the document I provided, it was only the answers that Ron and Lily and I tackled, which was kind of like half the doc,
Okay,
half the application, I mean.
okay.
June 25th,
June 25th. Okay.
11:59 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay, all right. And just so that I'm correct, that's just the portion that's already been looked at by you guys, right?
No, that's the whole, I think, kit and caboodle.
That's the whole document. All right. So if
Yeah.
I go through the whole thing and make comments, then and those are incorporated, then we are all done, or is there additional stuff on the application on the website?
Yeah, there was a lot that we sorry, I really should have been clearer about this in the preceding meetings. I apologize. Yeah, there's mostly just kind of technical information that's left that we kind of, population stuff, data have. I'm hoping, I know the date's coming up really soon, and I'm hoping against hope like it'll be really cut and dry information so it won't take too long to fill out, and hopefully
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be doable before the due date. I just,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really sorry. I really should have kind of spelled
Don't
that
worry
out.
about it.
Yeah.
I'll take another look at things, hopefully sometime tomorrow.
Yeah, you would just be logging right into the lead.
Application. Yeah.
I think you were wondering, Dylan, if there's anything beside the application, right? Above and beyond it, it's just the application and you're done.
Oh, it is just the application. We're not providing supporting
Well,
documents.
no, actually,
and-
the person submitting the documentation would have to take them on a 100-mile bike ride.
Okay, so when are we doing that together, Ron?
After my back surgery.
Hey,
All right.
you guys can borrow my tandem.
I have an extra yellow vest for you, Ron.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Ron doesn't wear
that's-
yellow, just black.
All right, that's good to know. I'll take another look at the Google Docs, and get everything in there that I think should be in there that hasn't been included yet, and then I'll get into the more technical stuff on the application through the website.
Right.
All
And
right,
if for some reason you need something else, just reach out.
sure. Thank
You'll
you.
be in Sweden, right, Carolyn?
I will be in Sweden. Yes. So my
Wow.
brother lives out there, so and his family, and we're heading off on Sunday for a few days. It's very
Excellent.
exciting.
Wonderful. Have a great time.
Yeah.
I think we will. We'll be on the West Coast, so yeah, I mean it is just nice to spend time in Europe because they do a really beautiful job with their cities and everything.
Will you be biking over there?
I think we might. Yeah. My brother, his family just had a child, so they're not doing a ton of biking. So I think we're just gonna commission his bikes and go for it. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I hope you enjoy your trip,
Thank you. Thank you.
of course.
So then do we want to move on to the Trails Council?
Ron?
So, yeah, no, the Farmington part had to do with like, where's the water fountain? And you already addressed that. So did
I-
you get
Yeah,
an
Tony
email?
emailed me.
You did. Okay, good. So, yeah,
I did reply to his email that night. I know he sent me an email late one night, and I replied back pretty
okay,
quickly,
cool.
like a half hour or so.
Yeah, and any of the events, you can just go on the website.
Okay.
There was really nothing new that came up.
Mhm.
There's still about 15 spots for Ride the State on the 22nd, I believe. So it's almost filled up.
All right, do we want to move on to the information seminars?
Yeah, I left this in just because we at our last meeting, I don't think any dates have been set for anything,
So,
and it was just I'm just looking for an update.
yeah, so my situation is I can't even stand for very long right now. And my surgery actually got pushed a week earlier, so which is good for me. So I'm gonna have that done July 1st, and then I won't be doing something like that for probably 3 weeks.
Okay.
Ron, are those the ones we were gonna do about traveling by bike and working with the highway department?
Yes,
Okay,
that is it.
all right,
Yeah.
I'll see if I can come up with some kind of a format and we can run it by you guys maybe at the next meeting.
Yeah.
And I can get some input from you on what I should add, what I should take out, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and
Okay,
if we can set a date, even if it's 3 or 4 months in the future, we could do that at the next meeting. If you
Okay.
guys are ready to and committed to it.
Sure. I mean, the thing at Sanford and Holly went good. I think we could take our show on the road.
and that was a perfect presentation. So you, I, and Neil will get together and come up with Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys.
Hey, I don't know if we were thinking about this, but I know the town has a new bus company for starting to transportation in the fall. We might want to meet with them too, because I've actually had a couple of buses almost take me off the road recently.
Ooh.
So it might be a good idea to educate school bus drivers, and with a new contract, the new firm coming in, it might be a good time to do that.
That's a really good idea.
idea.
Yeah, let's
When you don't get 3 feet along the side of the bus, the curb comes up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, Neil, because I just had one do that to me the other day in the center of town.
Yeah.
really.
And it
I was
wasn't anything.
thinking of your explanation about the winds around large vehicles like that. Might be
Yeah.
very interesting for them to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So how would we move forward with that?
I can reach out to the Board of Ed or the public school office across the hall from mine, to see if we could set something up, probably closer to the start of the next school year, I would
Yeah.
think. Because this summer, late summer, the drivers will be learning the roads, and then once they've got their routes down, they would probably be more open to suggestions, I would think, as they're trying to learn the town right now, and their routes. So I would think, when's the first day of school typically in Farmington? Is it
The end of August, August
End of
26th or something like that.
okay? So maybe beginning of August, we could put something together for them, and it'd probably be the same presentation you gave Stanford and Holly, just maybe change a couple of pictures from trucks to buses. My tractor must have
I have
told
some
me.
recent bus videos.
So, yeah, we could look at putting something together with them, and yeah, let me reach out to them, see what they have to say.
And by the way, I'm not even sure. I don't even know if the buses that I've encountered were Farmington, contracted buses. They might have been transporting, because there's a lot of camps and stuff too that start
they could have
using
been,
buses. So
sports
Yeah, so-
teams or camps, like you
yeah,
said.
so my comment was not related to, what is it, M&J or whoever the current
It's
incumbent is.
M&J right now, but I don't know who's
It's going to
coming.
specialty, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. Specialty Bus Company or something like that. Their office, I think, is also supposed to be on New Britain Avenue. However, it's not at the same property. I know
Yeah,
that.
it's street a little bit. They're still trying to level out the parking lot a little bit.
Yeah. So they still have a lot of leg work to do before they are ready to move children. So
Do you know, is M&J still going to stay where they are and just drive further away to the towns they support, or are they going to abandon
to be
that?
honest, I'm not sure.
I
What-
heard they
Okay.
were. We were talking about it just the other night. Yeah, last night.
Okay.
That they're staying there?
I think they're staying there, yeah, unless they decide
Okay.
to move at the last minute. But last I heard, they were
Yeah.
staying there
Okay.
because the new bus company couldn't take over that lot because they were staying, so they had to
Yeah.
go somewhere else.
Okay.
But that could all change tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. I think we can move to our last
Yeah.
item. It's
Like the school audit.
yeah, I don't have an update from Board of Ed for that. I know that they do not have designated bike routes, and I don't believe they have initiated the bike to school audit yet.
So, I feel like they don't understand what it is. How can we explain to them? Like Bruce and I know what it is. I don't know, whoever else on here. It's not to come, it is to come and evaluate what we have and what we don't have. It's just suggestions. It's not like, okay, you need to put this in, you need to put, I feel like every school I've mentioned it to, they're scared to death. It's like, no, we don't want that. We don't even want them to come here with their
Yeah,
tent on a bike to school day. It's not even that. This is a state program. It's not, it's there to help guide a town, not to make them do things. Right,
The,
Bruce? Maybe you can explain it better.
yeah, Ron, the stigma comes from other state programs that are exactly like that, where they come in and they do an audit and give you recommendations that you have then 6 months to
Yeah,
make changes.
yeah,
Um,
that's the big difference is,
Yeah.
a DOT audit, for instance, if they give you enough stuff, it can be quite the disaster. This is not the case. This is a totally different program. And essentially what they're trying to do is make recommendations.
Yeah.
And that's really it, and you can take them to heart or do nothing or, whatever you choose. But I think from our point of view, it's in our best interest as a town to do that.
It's free.
Well, not only is it free, but it also, to a certain extent, protects the town, because the town, the town can come back to the school system and say, look, we've looked at some of these safety issues, and we have some recommendations, and let's talk about some of the low hanging fruits, some of the easy things to do, et cetera, et cetera. But no, none of this is mandatory.
Who would be taking the next steps based on the reports? Would it be the schools, or would it be the town, or would it be kind of a mix of both? Because you would
Schools, right?
just be
The
the school.
schools would probably have, it would probably be the Department of Public Works doing the changes.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a practical matter, it's the school system and DPW ultimately.
Yeah, it would be some kind of a joint venture where they give us the recommendations and then probably have the town council create some kind of, bike to school 2025 plan or something like that, Brian, where the town council would set goals to make Route A to Noah Wallace more accessible per the recommendations of the bike to school audit or something like that.
We have to do the audit before we add that to the plan.
Yeah, you need the audit before you do the plan.
How long does it take to do the audit?
I'm guessing, I'm thinking 3 months to schedule and have the report in hand.
Okay, and is it
Maybe
best
longer, maybe
during
longer.
is it best to do that during the school year, or can we do it during the summer?
You could do it during the summer. Because they're looking at the infrastructure, not necessarily how kids are currently getting to school, although I'm sure they'll ask the Board of Ed, as the Board of Ed likely knows some routes that the kids currently take.
Do we know how many kids actually bike to school, approximately?
I don't believe we do.
Oh, yeah.
Matt? Just you?
Yeah, actually, I've seen a few kids riding, but I just wanted to mention something. When I was in Flagstaff maybe 8 years ago, their schools are not located on main roads, not like ours are. Ours are on main arteries a lot of times, or close to main arteries. And that provided the kids the opportunity to ride, and they actually had a fenced-in area where the kids could park their bikes. But I do know a friend of mine who lived right off the bike path in Simsbury. He was told by the school, you will not allow your child to ride to school. It's too dangerous.
Really?
Yep.
You did this on the road or on the bike path?
Either one. They don't want the kids riding to school. And this is Simsbury, which kind of shocked me. But that was a while ago, so it may have changed.
Could be a liability thing for the school.
I would like to know where that originates from, just as a practical matter.
Well, he moved out of Simsbury probably 7 or 8 years ago, so I don't know right now where it was. But I remember the conversation.
Huh.
So not to go into all of this, but we're also talking about giving parents who can do it a chance to ride with their children at a young age. It's not always just, people just think, oh, it's just the little kids riding to school. No, like the bike to school days in Simsbury, different parents are in charge of different neighborhoods with a group of kids, and then they ride in together. Well, if you can have some type of safe routes, then hopefully eventually over the years, you start to get parents who have a certain neighborhood with kids and volunteer to ride in with them and then go back and ride back home.
Ron,
That's
did
what we've done.
you see my post on Facebook about the bike bus that was on the Washington Post website?
Yeah,
That was a group of parents riding with a group of kids into school, just doing it once a week or something like that. It was kind of a cool
exactly.
idea.
So it's just all part of a bigger plan to some way get more bicycle friendly.
Yeah, that's all.
pedestrian friendly.
It's a baby step, but it's a start.
Yeah.
Nice. Do we have anything else to discuss before we move on to the approval of the minutes?
No,
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'm tired.
Motion.
Second, any discussion?
No.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
We're good to go? All right, guys, thanks very much.
Thank
All right,
you.
we'll see you guys next
All right.
month.
All right,
Thanks.
We're adjourned.
Oh, by the way, before we leave, I just want to say that Jeff Glad and the Farmington PD did an outstanding job supporting our race this year. We had four full weekends of racing, bordering on Farmington Plainville line, and they did a great job. They were awesome.
They never
And-
let us down.
Plainville
Never
guys
let
were
us
great
down.
too. So
Mhm.
it was a
Thank you, Jeff.
good team effort.
Where
Thank you.
excellence is routine.
Yeah, Jeff actually had a kid who was in the race a couple of times, so that was kind of cool too.
Oh, wow.
All the way, came all the way down from Boston. We will be doing a bicycle for police school in July, the week of July 15th.
Is that the certification course, Jeff?
That's a certification course for cops. We're doing, I think, 20 officers, and we've already got 9 people on a waiting list. So we might do another one in September. We'll see how that goes.
Nice.
All right,
Excellent.
motion to adjourn?
I'll make a
Motion to
motion.
adjourn.
Adjourned.
Thank you.
All right.